Logan was a simple man. A fisherman by trade, Logan lived in a small house by the sea with his wife Paula. They were not rich, but lived a simple life of peace and contentment. One day while fishing, Logan caught a magical, luminous fish that could grant wishes. Caught in his net, the fish pleaded with Logan to let him go by promising to grant him any wish he desired. Surprised to have caught a talking fish, Logan felt sorry for it and released it back into the sea without making a wish. He felt good about letting the fish go, and even debated telling Paula, unsure how she would react. But when Logan got home, he was too excited about the strange experience to keep it a secret. Paula was pissed. She demanded Logan return to the sea and order the fish to grant them a wish. Not wanting to fight about it, Logan agreed to go back the next day, and they spent the rest of the evening trying to figure out what to wish for. Paula wanted to wish for 1,000,000 Bitcoin, which made Logan laugh. Paula, embarrassed, asked Logan what he would wish for then. Logan thought for a minute and said he wouldn't mind a new fishing boat. Smiling, Logan imagined that with the new boat he could catch more fish than ever and make all their dreams come true. Paula thought that could be okay, but if they just asked for one wish, then it was all over. Paula then convinced Logan to ask the fish for 2 wishes, one which he would use for his new fishing boat and one they would save for later, just in case. Logan agreed, and the next day returned to the sea to ask the fish for a wish. The fish, which Logan had freed the day before, was happy to see Logan thinking he was a friend. And so when Logan wished for 2 wishes, the fish agreed and granted his wish. That night when Logan got home, he found Paula on the porch. Logan called out hello as he walked past her into the cottage but got no response. He went back out to Paula and asked her what was wrong. Paula sat on the couch, staring at a raffle ticket in her hand. She held it out to him. Logan smiled. "What is it, honey?" Paula shook the ticket. Logan took it from her and read it. It was a raffle ticket, and they had won a 26-amp fishing boat. "I don't even remember buying this ticket," she said. After this, the couple made wish after wish, careful to always save an extra wish for another day. Before they knew it, they were living in a luxurious condo overlooking the bay and had all the material possessions they'd ever dreamed of. But just having stuff was getting boring. Paula especially became discontented with her life. She used to spend the time doing chores in her garden, thinking about her next makeup and commentary video for her tiny social media channel. But now she didn't need to do any of that. No longer were they trying to get ahead, hoping to get monetized. It didn't matter. But then she had an idea and asked Logan to go back to the sea and ask the fish for another wish. She was very excited now and wanted fame to go along with all their fortune because, as she said, what's the good of being so rich if you can't show it off? The fish, always obliging, said he would grant their wish for fame. That evening when Logan got home, he and Paula did not feel famous and saw no difference. So Paula was mad. She demanded Logan go back to the sea and order the fish to grant their wish. But Logan, tired and uninterested, argued he'd go back in the morning and went to bed. The next day, still angry with Logan, Paula opened her social media and couldn't believe what she saw. Her little channel of commentary and makeup tips had suddenly amassed 1,000,000 adoring fans overnight. Comment after comment talked about how beautiful she is and how helpful her content has been to them, how clever she is and how she has changed their lives for the better. Paula shouted for Logan to come and look. He laughed and congratulated her, telling her that all her hard work had finally paid off. Logan joked he probably has 1,000,000 new followers too, and was surprised when he saw that it was true. He too had become famous overnight. Suddenly, his tiny channel, Fishing and Finance, had exploded to 1,000,000 subs. His DMs were packed with influencers requesting interviews, and business propositions overflowed his inbox. The two looked at each other in astonishment. Smiles slowly crept over their faces, and they joined hands, dancing around the living room and laughing. "Let's party," Logan exclaimed, but Paula was already scrolling through her phone. She looked up and said, "What'd you say, hun?" before she ran from the room. Life after that was, at first, a fun and exciting whirlwind of posts and projects. It had been so difficult before. It had seemed like the algorithm hated them, but now every day they got more and more followers. Every video got more views, but no matter how many subs they had or how many views and likes they got, it was never enough. They always wanted more. Every day was a continuous roller coaster of highs and higher highs, as they could seem to do no wrong in the eyes of their fans, no matter what ridiculous thing they did. From Paula's videos, where she falsely portrayed the products she represented without even letting her fans know they were paid sponsorships, to Logan's elaborate scheme to get everyone to give them his crypto. It turned out that Logan had the gift of gab and an inborn deviousness he hadn't realized he possessed. His plan focused on telling people how banks use the money you save with them, but don't give you any of the benefits of that use, and how fiat is useless anyway, and that everyone should buy his new cryptocurrency coin instead. He invited his community to store all their crypto coins with him. He said he would take care of staking it and earning the rewards, then distribute the rewards back to his customers. This, he said, is the way it should be. He said the rewards belong to the customers, not the greedy banks. His tagline was, "Unbank yourself," and he portrayed himself as someone who wanted to help the everyday man. Months went by before Logan returned to the sea. He didn't know what he wanted. He only knew he wasn't happy. Paula was a shadow of her former self. She streamed all day and was constantly surrounded by people who followed her every move. When he visited his old stomping grounds, most of his friends had moved on, and the ones left acted like they didn't know him. When Logan got to the sea, he found the fish looking pale and tired. Logan hadn't noticed how the obligation of their constant demands had drained the fish and raged. "Stupid fish!" he shouted. "This is all your fault! Everything was fine until you came along!" Logan placed the blame for his unhappiness on the fish. He told the fish to leave them alone. He cried that he never wanted any of this and screamed that he never wanted to see the fish again. Logan hurled a rock toward the fish, who quickly dodged it. Released from obligation, the fish, which had seemed small and pale just a moment ago, rose out of the water, luminous again. It floated across the bay, becoming larger and larger, circling around and finally stopping in front of Logan. It looked down into Logan's small, pinched face with an eye that had become as large as Logan's head. Logan, fearful, turned away, but after only a second, turned back, and the fish was gone. Logan was suddenly overcome with a sorrow so powerful he could not move. It felt like the best parts of him had been sucked dry, leaving only emptiness, but soon enough, anger filled him again, and he jumped in his McLaren and headed home. Everything had been perfect until they got what they wanted. Now everything just felt wrong. Everyone was so fake. He just wanted to go home. Home to his cottage, not to his new, sterile, neutral, featureless, boring-ass condo where he got yelled at if he didn't take off his shoes as soon as he walked in the door. Logan returned home to find Paula anxiously waiting for him. Her eyes were filled with tears, and she held a stack of legal documents in her trembling hands. The air in the room grew heavy with silence as she handed him the letters. Logan's face twisted, and his heart sank as he scanned the papers. It felt like there was a lump of charcoal burning in his stomach. He could feel the intense, terror, loss, fail-majoral feeling rising up throughout his body. When it reached his head, it felt as if his ears would spit his brains out on each side of his head. Looking into his eyes, Paula screamed, "What did you do, Logan? What did you do? We're losing subs like crazy. The commentary channels are all talking about us, and we've been demonetized. Demonetized, Logan." Paula showed Logan all the clickbait photos of their faces alongside words like frauds, fakes, thieves, and liars. "Logan, what happened?" screeched Paula. Logan's heart raced as he rushed to his computer. The comments section of his videos was flooded with anger and disappointment, and his once devoted fans turned against him. As the minutes turned into hours, Logan struggled to regain control. He dumped his PooCoin and paused withdrawals from his platform, but it was futile. The damage had been done, his reputation was irreparably tarnished, and his fortune was draining away. The truth had come crashing down on him like a tidal wave, leaving him helpless and exposed. He was a fraud running a pyramid scheme, and now everyone knew it. Meanwhile, the authorities had been alerted to his fraudulent activities and were closing in on him. Unbeknownst to him, Paula had been questioned by the police, who also had evidence of her involvement in their illicit schemes. Just then, the flashing red and blue lights of police cars outside their window caught Logan's attention. This was accompanied by the ominous beeping sound of trucks backing up that had arrived to repossess their vehicles and his new fishing boat. With a loud crash, the front door was broken down, and Logan found himself face to face with law enforcement. His breath caught in his throat as handcuffs were placed on his wrists, marking the end of his freedom. Paula stood frozen, her face streaked with tears, unable to do anything to save him. "I'm sorry, Logan. I'm so sorry," she cried. Their accounts were frozen, and their assets seized. Paula could do nothing to bail him out and had turned the state's evidence against Logan, divulging every detail of their fraudulent activities to save herself. The once thriving social media presence they enjoyed had crumbled as their followers turned away in disgust. They were pariahs, virtual ghosts whose existence was quickly forgotten. Ultimately, Logan was sentenced to prison, and Paula, because they had become the most hated couple on the planet, was forced into witness protection and now works at a Cinnabon in Omaha. For Logan, the walls of his cell became his new reality. Cut off from the world he once thrived in, the emptiness that had consumed him when the fish departed now enveloped him entirely. Once a sanctuary of peace and contentment, their cottage by the sea now housed strangers who knew nothing of the couple who had lived there before. Logan and Paula became distant memories, fading into the background of a town that had moved on from them and their misdeeds.